Today we're going to talk about grain on a pair of pants. It's kind of important because if the grain isn't right, your pants may twist. So we're going to use this new simplicity pattern. It's a 97.89 and we're going to make these super wide leg pants. We're just going to talk about Grainline at the moment. So this book, which you may or may not be able to find, Pattern Making by the Flat Pattern Method, I'll put all the information in the post down below, is like the Bible for drafting patterns. And you can see by this photo that the grain line needs to be perpendicular to the crotch line and the hip line, also the knee line. And you'll see a lot of pattern drafters who will fold up the pattern to get the knee in the right place, and there's a whole lot of time involved in that. And yes, if you're having twisting issues, you definitely should go that way, but quick, simple. I'm going to show you where the grain line is and why it's important. You know, it's funny, these questions tend to come in batches, and I had a couple of people just in the last couple of days ask me about Grainline. So this is the front piece for 98.79. That's right, wrong, 97.89. And here is our grain line, this dark line going up and down the pattern. And yes, it runs perpendicular to the crotch line, the hip line, and the knee line. You can't use the waistline because sometimes our waists are curved. They're a little lower in the front or a little higher in the back. There's darts. Stay away from using the waistline. Same thing with the hem. Depending on the pants, the hem can be a little interesting. You could have something that crosses over. So we're going to use the hip line, and I'm going to show you how they arrived at this grain line. So we have a couple of different options. We have, if you have a T-square, that's great. You can use this on a gridded map and line this up right. This is the mark that we're using right here, this mark where the size 20 is, and we want to be lined up with that. But since I don't have a gridded mat, I'm going to use a couple of rulers. Here's one, my long ruler, and I'm going to line it up right on that 20 mark right there. Then I'm going to take another ruler and I'm going to make an intersection here at the center of the pants. But I want this to be 45 degrees. So I have a third ruler. This is where the T-square actually works really well. I have a third ruler and I'm going to slide that in so I have a 45 degree angle. So I want the grain line to be 45 degrees from the horizontal line of the crotch and the hip depth, also the hip line. So now I can take out this triangle ruler because I know that my line is correct, and I can just draw my line down my pants. So when do you need this? I mean, it's on the pants already. If I cut this pant and I make some kind of adjustment here, or if I narrow the legs or widen the legs, I might distort the grain line a little bit, and I want to make sure that this line is straight, and again, it's perpendicular. It's perfectly perpendicular at a 45 degree angle to the hip line, the crotch line, and the knee line also. Most often, because we work with fabrics that have a lot of knit in them these days, it's not that important. Your pants aren't going to twist. But if you're working with a linen or a wool, that's certainly something you want to check. Yep, so this is it. It's quick, it's simple, and you only need to do this when you've redrafted a pair of pants and you've changed them. So say you made these pants up in a muslin, a mock-up garment, and you had to make some adjustments to the inseam or the rise on the front of the pants, then you might want to redraw the grain line just to make sure that the front of the pants and also the back, same thing, that they're running straight of grain. And then you use this grain line to measure the distance and make sure that this grain line is parallel to the salvage edge of your fabric. Or in the case of a stripe, that this is running down a stripe, because you don't want a visual to go off kilter either. That is super important. So that's it for Grainline. We are done. It's super easy, and don't fear the grain line. Bye.